1944. I was a corporal in the US Army, just another face in a platoon of scared, sweating men, slogging through thick vines and the stench of rot. The enemy wasn't always the Japanese, it was the jungle itself. Disease, insects, madness. We were ambushed during a recon patrol. Gunfire cracked like thunder, and before I could blink, half my unit was torn to pieces. I remember crawling to cover, my leg mangled by shrapnel, watching the sergeant bark desperate orders no one heard. When the bullets stopped, we were down to 5, and one of them blamed me for leading us into the trap. They were going to execute me. They said I'd deserted my post-panic maybe, but I knew what it was. Fear needed a scapegoat. So while they argued over who would pull the trigger, I slipped into the underbrush and vanished. The next days were a blur of pain, mud and fever. No food, no direction, no hope. I wandered aimlessly through the jungle, each step a struggle, vines wrapping around my legs like hands trying to pull me down. I hallucinated faces in the trees, heard voices whispering in unknown tongues. I wanted to die, and then I did at least. I thought I did when I slipped on a mossy rock and was swept away by the river. When I woke, I was lying on a beach, half covered in black sand, my rifle somehow still slung over my shoulder. The air smelled different, less decay, more salt and fire. I drifted to an island off the coast, one that wasn't marked on any map. I had no idea it was inhabited, until I saw the spears. A circle of warriors stood around me, silent, painted in red ochre and ash. Some wore necklaces of bone. One of them stepped forward and touched the barrel of my rifle, like it was a holy relic. I braced myself for death, but it never came. Instead, they carried me to their village, me, the broken, delirious white man from the sky. And for reasons I still can't explain, they let me live. I learned later they were a tribe, feared even by other tribes' headhunters, merciless in war, proud in honor. But I didn't see monsters, I saw people. People who had saved my life. They treated my wounds, fed me boiled roots and strange stews. At first, I was a prisoner, then a curiosity. Eventually, I became a brother. I taught them what I knew, how to shoot, how to move like a unit, how to defend with strategy, not just brute force. And they taught me how to survive, how to blend into the jungle like mist, how to listen to birdsong for danger, how to kill silently. I stopped being an American soldier. I became something else. Years passed. I no longer counted the days. My skin browned under the sun. My eyes adjusted to the dark. I stopped dreaming in English. Then, one morning, we saw smoke on the horizon. The Japanese had found the island. They didn't come to fight. They came to destroy. They strafed the village with gunfire, set fire to the huts. When we fought back, they laughed. They had more men, better weapons, no mercy. By nightfall, most of my tribe, my family was dead. I knelt beside the body of the chief, who once called me brother, his blood still warm, and something inside me broke. The next day, I painted my face in ash and blood. I sharpened my machete until it sang in the wind. I gathered what few warriors remained, those too angry to die, and we became ghosts. We struck at night. We cut throats in the dark. We left no prisoners. We stole their weapons, their food, their maps. We turned their own traps against them. We hunted the hunters. The jungle was our ally now, and I was no longer a soldier. I was a warlord. We found their main camp weeks later, tucked behind a ravine, guarded by machine guns and tripwires. But nothing can stop a man who has nothing left to lose. We waited until their guard was down. We came with fire. I remember the screams, the chaos, the pure satisfaction of watching the men who had slaughtered my tribe run like frightened animals into the trees. When it was over, I stood in the center of the camp, surrounded by flames, holding the Japanese officer's saber in one hand. I wasn't seeking glory. I wasn't even seeking justice. I just wanted them to feel what we felt. They never found me. When the war ended, I didn't return home. What was left for me there? A name carved in stone. A family that thought I was dead. No, I stayed. For years, I wandered the jungle, a phantom draped in vines and memories. Some said I was a demon, others, a god. To me, I was just a man who'd seen too much and lived through too little. But if you ever visit that island, and the wind feels colder than it should, you'll know I'm still there, watching.
Some stories don't make it into the history books. Some heroes never get medals, but they exist between the shadows of truth and the silence of survival. If this story touched something in you, don't forget to subscribe and help us share more forgotten tales from the corners of history.